Tatiana Siegel, and Gabourey Sidibe. Love it.
I wanted to show off my outfit. Oh my, I also stole a cookie.
Okay, how gratifying or satisfying is it to see directed by and then your name?
That's my favorite part.
I bet.
I gotta say, I'm a lot more sensitive than I like to admit that I am. Like the very first day of shooting, I called rap and I was really excited to do that. And I go, okay, everyone, it's a rap. And I was crying so hard and I didn't see it coming. And I forgot that. So the entire time this film was showing, especially when I saw my name, I was crying like a basket case back there. Hence this is my emotional support cookie.
I think, and it's also, people don't realize how hard it is to direct something and to get that opportunity and to get the financing for it. So tell us a little bit about how you got this project.
I got very lucky. I lived kind of a backwards charmed life. Like even as an actor, I kind of tripped and fell into an audition on Monday, was hired by Wednesday, and a year and a half later I was nominated for an Oscar for that one audition. But that's kind of, I know that's like a weird story, hi. But that's also kind of how I got to direct. So Refinery 29 has an offshoot called Shatterbox. Where they round up about 12 to 10 young female filmmakers, and they say to them, look, I think you're cute. I think you're cool. I think you're smart or whatever. They butter you up, I guess. And then they say, we'll give you money and we'll finance a film, a short film. And you have the freedom to make and say anything that you want to say. And we'll just write you a check and make it happen. And so they did that to like me, I guess. And I said no at first because I don't believe that I didn't believe in my voice. I didn't believe that I was cool. I didn't believe that that my vision was strong enough to share with you guys, with Nantucket, and with an audience. But I was wrong, and I said yes, thank God, and that's how it happened. But it happened in a very too easy a way, thanks to Refinery 29 and Shatterbox.
What was the turning point where you were like, you know what, I do have a voice that should be heard?
How many of you are women? Ladies! Well, I tend to think that it's a female problem. I think that it's also a female of color problem. I didn't believe in my own voice just because my voice is kind of missing from the world. It's almost missing, and I didn't believe in myself, but I have a very good friend, one of my best friends, and my producing partner, Kia Perry, actually came up with this idea. The idea to take, so this film is an adaptation of a Nina Simone song called The Four Women. And she saw the song performed and wondered why there wasn't a script about it. And she, who is so smart and so cool and so daring, believed in her voice enough to say, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make that film. And she was actually going to do a Kickstarter to get the money for it. But then Refinery came to me, and I was like, well, I have the money for it. Why don't you let me direct it, and we'll do it. And so in this way, I wasn't able to get this done for myself. Myself was not the turning point. It was, I could say no for myself, but I couldn't say no for Kia. I wanted this made for her. And so she allowed me to do this for her. And really, she allowed me to do this for myself. As a woman, you have to go last. You eat last. You get your feelings stroked last. Everybody's got to eat before you. Everyone goes before you. Everyone's comfortable before you, and you're supposed to sit in uncomfortability.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I was willing to do. And through this experience, I learned that I don't need to go last. I could go first.
Now, of the four characters, was there one that you identified with more than?
The interesting thing about these four women, Aunt Sarah is the first, Sophronia is the second. She's the teenage girl who's bullied. Sweet Thing is the woman who's sleeping with a married man.
Sexy.
And, right? Sexy. And Peaches is the woman who lost her son. And do I identify with one more than the other? I can't say I do. I identify with each of those women. Each of those women have raised me. Each of those women live within my mother, live within my aunts, live within me. And I can't say, no, I don't identify with one more than the other, but I know each of these women, and I feel so honored to bring them to life, because it's not me. Nina wrote the song. So the song is actually, I think the song is like less than 2 minutes long. It's a really, really short song, but she has about 2 to 3 lines about each woman, and she fleshed out an entire universe for each woman, and it was so easy and so free to kind of just go in and create them from these few lines because I already knew them, because they're me, they're you.
Now, did you ever think of acting or in the project, or were you always...
Myself. Well, I wasn't willing to get on the casting couch, so that's a no. The thing is, okay, so I, as an actor, I've been doing this for about 10 years now. So I already know what that's like, but I don't know what it's like to be a director. I didn't know what it was like at the beginning of this project. And I really wanted to throw myself into being a director completely.
Right,
I
and be on the other side of the
Exactly.
camera and not.
Yeah, I get real distracted. I'm not the kind of person that can chew gum and walk at the same time. I'm very smart, I'm kidding. But I didn't want to be distracted by my own lines, because as an actor, all I have to worry about is this one character, these one sets of lines, this is it. But as a director, I have to worry about every character, every line, the furniture, the temperature in the room, the cameras. There's so many things to worry about.
Right. How the light is refracting off the mirror. And
what time it is, because I have to beat the sun, or I have to get an actor on the plane so that he can go to work. Those sort of things. And I knew that I would not be as good an actor if I were directing, and not as good a director if I were acting also.
now, were you shooting last summer? Was it last summer?
Yeah.
In New York, right?
August 1st. August 1st through August 4th. In Inwood, New York. I don't know what you know about New York, but it's between Manhattan and Bronx. New York? It was super hot, and God, it was hot. My God, it was hot. But we made it. It was touch and go for a second.
What kinds of things were going on in the news at the time that may have, because I can't remember, it's like you remember things 2 minutes ago now. It's so sad, but what was going on in the news that had any influence on the story and shaped it in any way?
The same exact thing that's going on in the news right now. We've been in this room for about 30 minutes. For all we know, there's another hashtag coming. There's another life that was ended. There's another life that won't see justice, that won't fulfill its potential. And that's exactly what was going on then. During shooting, there was a woman who had complained about the police that would always badger her. She had some mental health issues, and she called the cops because something had happened, and she called them to her home, and they shot and killed her in front of her 5-year-old child, who was also shot. That happened day 2 that we were filming. 3 days ago, a woman who was pregnant was shot and killed in front of her 4 children by police. Again, also had some mental health issues, also called the police. So the same exact, but also these stories are not new. You think, oh wow, this is happening a lot more, only because we have better technology. We have really great cell phones that are just recording every single thing that we do. But this is not a new problem, but it's very old, and I am so tired of being afraid and walking in fear and being fearful for my life and for my family's lives. And it's just, and it's not just a problem of race. It's a problem of over-policing. It's a problem of not being able to see my humanity because of my religion or my color or my social economical status. That is the problem. And I wanted to make this film because I don't know what to do with my fear and with my pain and my anger about it.
And also, you're seeing a lot of this kind of fear and anger depicted on social media, but not on the screen, or at least not on the big screen.
Yeah, I think, look, this is a very difficult conversation to have. It's very difficult. It's scary. Like, even, presenting this in front, you guys are super white. Y'all know that, right? Y'all know? Just wanted to make sure. No, it's fine. I'm not judging. I'm just literally speaking. I'm spitting facts to you. As a young Black woman who has a Twitter account, if I say anything at all about your current president or just what's going on, I get 1,000 eggs calling me, frankly, a fat nigger who needs to shut the fuck up. That's what I get for saying, I don't think this guy should be our president, you guys. Like, just that. But that's just, I don't think so. And it's like, you need to take your ass back to Africa, which I'm half African. I have a lovely home there. But it's lovely. I'm Senegalese. It's bomb there. There are mango trees in my backyard. But the thing is, I say all that to say that it's really scary to speak up. But that's in our amendment. We have the right we have a voice for a reason. It's scary to speak up. It's hard to speak up. It's a difficult conversation to have. But I am so uncomfortable that it's the only thing I can talk about because I'm so scared. And also, I have to say, my first film was Precious. Thank you for your standing ovation.
She received a Best Actress nomination.
I did. But I say that to say that, that film was about poor Black people who were suffering. And there was, sexual abuse, and there was so much there. There was so much of a difficult conversation. And that was my first audition. So I cannot be afraid to speak about uncomfortable things that are scary. I thank God I thank God for that first film because it's given me the opportunity to not want to stay silent because I don't have to. I'm used to having this conversation.
And do you feel as an artist that you can be most effective in affecting change?
Yeah. Nina Simone says, as far as I'm concerned, it's an artist's responsibility. Kia? What did she say? Kia. It's an artist to reflect the times. I knew that. She didn't help at all. It's an artist's responsibility to reflect the time. That's what Nina says. And that's what every artist that I know that's a true artist, that's the creed we all live by. It's our responsibility. Because if I were a lawyer, if I were just a regular person in my own little world, I could probably pretend that things that go on outside of my life don't go on. That's the power of privilege. I'm not being a white privilege is a problem. The thing is, I have plenty of privileges. We all have our own sets of privileges. The problem with privilege is when you cannot see around it to someone else's point of view and someone else's lifestyle. And so artists, we get to experience more people, we get to experience more of the world, we get to experience different privileges and different lifestyles and different people. And it is our duty to speak up about that. It is our duty to reflect that for those who cannot see beyond privilege.
Now, I would love to talk a little bit about your book, which everybody should run out and buy a copy of, or especially women. It's such a powerful book for women.
Thank you. This is Just My Face, Try Not to Stare by Gabourey, Sidibe.
Great title. Now, tell me a little bit about the journey of writing that book and putting that into, the written format, and painful or the cathartic.
All of the above. D. So I wrote that book for about 3 years. I wrote it by myself. I didn't write it with, a ghostwriter or anyone else. I had a really, really amazing and great editor, but I wrote it by myself. And I sort of wrote like in a dark room, like in a closet, and I just wrote until I felt better. And I chose to write about things that I felt stirred in my stomach about. A situation that, like, I don't like the way that played out, and I'm still bothered by it. And yes, it happened when I was 6, but it affects me today. And so I realized that I felt miserable while writing the first sentence, but I felt relieved by the last sentence of the chapter. I felt alleviated, I felt good, I felt grateful for the experience. And so I just wrote to feel good. And I did it for 3 years, and I was, when you write about yourself, you write about your friends and your family, you turn them into characters. In a strange way. You almost rob them of being people. You yourself become more and more human while they become cartoons. And that was really scary. I tell real stories about my parents, and I love my parents, but the audience doesn't. The reader doesn't have the ability to love my parents the way I do. So that was really, really scary to get around, but in the end, I wrote what made me feel good. And I'm really, really proud of it. And when I first started writing, I didn't know that I was going to direct. And now here we are. The book came out a month ago. This is the world premiere of the film. And just like that, I'm a writer-director. And I can't never not be a writer-director. An Oscar-nominated actress.
That's right.
Writer-director.
There are a lot of
terrorists. Listing all the things I am. Hungry. I'm just kidding.
There are many, many great actresses who cannot say that. Never nominated.
Not me. I'm kidding. It's fine.
I'm curious where you have seen more discrimination in Hollywood. There's this story that I don't even know if it's accurate, but that Joan Cusack said to you, she advised you to quit the business because it was too image conscious. A, is that true? And B, how did you feel by that sort of?
Is that true? Yes, it is true. Here's the story, though. I have loved Joan Cusack since I was a child. I don't know if you've ever seen the film Toys, starring the incomparable LL Cool J. You thought I was going to say Robin Williams. He's in it, but also, did you know LL Cool J's in that film? Anyway, I love Joan Cusack, and I met her at a party, and we were at the New York Film Festival, and my film Precious was playing at the moment, but it hadn't, there were no commercials or anything. It was pretty early before it came out. And she was like, so why are you at this party? And I was like, oh, I'm just here for the film festival. She's like, but are you an actress? And I was like, yeah, I'm an actress. She's like, oh, honey, it's such an image-conscious business. But I know that sounds like
there's an implication. But
it sounds like she was being horrible and telling me that your fat black ass needs to go. That's not what this was. I think that she has probably dealt with exactly what this industry is, which is image conscious.
Sure.
And can be really daunting if you're not blonde and tall and leggy and anything.
And under 25.
And under 25, yeah, unless you're Jennifer Lawrence. No shade to Jennifer Lawrence, but it's harder out here for those of us who are not Jennifer Lawrence. No shade to Jennifer Lawrence. Do not start a fight with me and Jennifer Lawrence, you guys. Chill. But I think that she felt for me because she didn't know who I was. I hardly was then, and I think she remembered all the things that she'd gone through, and she wanted to save me from that. It's actually really sweet what she was trying to do. Was she wrong? 100% she was wrong. She was wrong about me specifically, not about the business. And I think her intentions were to help and not harm. And I never felt, she's not a villain. She's not a terrible person. What she was trying to do is very sweet. She just put her foot in her mouth about me.
And she also came up at a time when the industry was a lot different. There is, to some extent, more progress now. You see, Melissa McCarthy is the top grossing actress in a tentpole, without an Avenger in it movie, or a Star Wars or something.
Absolutely. And time
and that's dictated by the audience. That is not dictated by what a casting,
Exactly. The industry is very different than the audience. The industry thinks that they are the audience, but they are not. You are the audience. You are the ticket buyers. You know the last time I paid to actually watch a movie? I haven't. 2007. but like because because I'm part of the industry, but like I don't buy tickets. You guys buy tickets.
That's right.
And the thing is, but I was coming up right. I'm not saying that I am the change, but I was coming up right when the change was about to happen. We have plenty of people who are bona fide movie stars that don't look like bona fide, what you think a bona fide movie star is supposed to look like. I mean, people were leaving film festivals and leaving screenings and leaving award shows where I was nominated and being like, that girl, Golden Globe nominee, dope. Never will she work again. Like, before the film was coming out, they were like, she'll never work again. And they genuinely thought that they were right. They were wrong. I had 2 projects coming up when they were writing think pieces about how I'll never work again. I'm just dope is all. But the thing is, like, people are wrong. And I'm just going to continue to be dope. And it's got nothing to do with it. I have not, like, what people think of me has nothing to do with what I actually am. The same can be said for Melissa McCarthy. The same can be said for Chrissy Metz, who is on This Is Us. Do y'all watch This Is Us? Go off This Is Us. This Is Us is a good show. The same could be said, but also the same could be said for Jennifer Lawrence. Like, we all have our own mountains to climb and our own demons to fight, and we're all out here doing it.
All right, we are going to allow the audience, which I'm sure has a lot of questions.
Y'all got some questions?
Yeah, who would like to be the first in the tea talk to ask Gabby something? Don't be shy, or I'll keep asking.
Nobody.
Right back there.
Okay, sorry if this sounds like a trivial question, but I was obsessed with the set dressing in all the scenes. Like, that was so like, I was staring at every single object in every scene. I have, like, was that just something I don't know, just tell me that.
What a terrible question. I'm kidding. What's your name? Rue? Drew. Rue's not a real, I'm sorry. Drew, it's Drew. What is wrong with me? Drew, that is probably my favorite question ever, actually. I mean, you're the first one, but you guys, the bar is high because of Drew. We were very serious about each, we only shot in 2 apartments, but we shot 4 different stories in each. We were very serious about what world each woman would live in. And we could do a whole seminar about this, but I'll just tell you about one. So Aunt Sarah, the woman who called, BSW.
Child services.
Exactly. So my idea of Aunt Sarah is that she has inherited everything that she has. The apartment that she lives in, her mother died in. So now, and she took over. The children that she is raising, her niece and nephew, she inherited those children because her sister went to prison. So there's no newness around Aunt Sarah. That big ass phone, the weird porcelain lamp, the curtains, everything was old. The music she was listening to. So really quickly, I'll learn not to do this, but the song that she's listening to is a song called My Man, sung by my mother. The song is about my father. The music was written by my uncle. And I knew I wanted a really old song. There was a photo of Jesus, and so I wanted a gospel song. My grandmother, who died before I could remember her, was a gospel singer and would write her own music. And so I knew she had recordings, and so I asked my aunt, who lives in Georgia, to find me a tape and send it to me. And I always knew of this song, My Man, because I remember sitting. If you got my book, you'd know this, but there was a situation in my home, and my brother and I went to foster care for 3 weeks. And I remember when I came back, my mother and my uncle were recording this song. I remember sitting on the floor in front of them watching this. So I remembered it, but it didn't hit me. So anyway, the tape comes, and by accident, that song is on the B-side, and it's filming while I was it's playing while I'm in the editing room, editing this movie. And it just felt old, and the tape is warped. Like, it's warped. The tape is 30 years old or so. And I just love the old feeling. Everything in Aunt Sarah's life is out of control because she did not choose it. And that is the intention and all of the power and thought that we put right into every single character. This is why I will not be acting in anything that I direct, because I am tired, okay? Lots to think about, but that's a really great question. I mean, like, yeah, we were, you do these things, you're like, oh, this isn't gonna matter. Who's gonna care? But Drew cares. Thank you, Drew.
Thank you, Drew. Oh, we've got now everyone's wanted.
Oh, Drew gonna make, okay, now y'all gonna follow Drew, got it.
You aptly mentioned the power in our pocket of cell phones and how that's a game changer in documenting stories that have not heard. With places like Bounce Network that's specifically targeting the dollars of the African American community, media dollars, and programs specifically for that niche. Or Blue Fever, that's the Millennium Netflix for women. Do you see that the dam of powerhouses have been holding that voice beginning to crumble? And if so, what do you see the future?
Absolutely. Like I said, the industry is not the audience. They just are not. The industry will have you believe that, the industry believes that, all they want is a superhero film. All they want is a white dude in a cape with abs. I do want that. But also, I want...
And that's play in China.
I won't lie, but I also want a black woman who is having an existential crisis, because that's who I am constantly. And what's great about the power in our pocket is that you don't need, if you're a filmmaker, if you're an artist, you do not need somebody with a check to make your art. You do not need Lionsgate to grant you $100 million. You do not need Sony or Universal or even Netflix to tell you what you can do, to tell you what your perspective is. You can make it on your own. And what's happening is it almost feels like they just weren't counting the dollars made by people of color. We've always been here. We've always spent money, but you did not count on me until Empire happened. You know what I mean? Like, not to be like, oh, Empire's the best. I'm just saying that, like, there's now a new wave of, like, well, we got to get more black people on TV. Like, I haven't been here since forever. Like, I'm just here. So count me in. Better yet, I have a cell phone and an AT&T plan, and I will make my own art since you will not give it to me. And that's what Refinery 29 is doing. That's what Shatterbox is doing. They're finding really cool people and saying, make your art, girl.
We've got time for one more question, I'm told. You pick.
I'll be in the lobby, though. You, with your hand raised, because you're a lady.
Okay, so first of all, did you hear the song that inspired us by yourself, or did Kia introduce it?
Oh no, I've listened. So my mom is a singer, and I have listened to lots and lots of music within my life, but it came from my mom, so I ignored it real good. Real good at you guys. Real good ignoring my mom. She could be here right now. I don't know. But Kia, actually, so I was shooting in Chicago, and Kia is like my favorite friend. She's my favorite unicorn. And shut up, Kia. So I badgered her into coming to visit me in Chicago, and she told me about this idea. She was like, oh, I saw it was the BET Honors or something, and Lettucey, who plays Aunt Sarah, and Kelly Price, and Faith Evans, and one other, Marsha Ambrosia, were performing this song on the BET Honors. And Kia saw it and wondered why that wasn't a script. And when she came to visit me, she was like, I have this idea, and I'm going to shoot it, and I'm going to blah, 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 and maybe we'll get Kickstarter, and maybe I probably need about $20,000 to do it because the song is, I'd never heard it, so she let me, so she YouTubed Nina Simone performing this in front, like in the crowd that she was performing in front of. I mean, God, there must have been hundreds of thousands, so many people there. It was like she was performing for all of Europe or something, and the power that she held, the attention that she held before she even started singing drew me in an incredible, it made my whole body feel different. I felt like I was floating. And as she sang, I could see very clearly. I could see each woman. I could see each world. I could see their room. I could see the paint on their fingernails. I could see everything. But I couldn't have seen that if Kia had not told me about it, if Kia had not shown me. Everybody, clap for Kia as she stands up. Stand up, Kia! Get up! Yeah, stand. Also, I'm also going to make, this is Victoria, who played Quincy, the 15-year-old girl. Stand up, Victoria. 74 years old, doesn't look a day over 15. Also, give it up for Lisa Cortez. Stand up, Lisa. Lisa, super producer, coolest woman in the world, has been my mentor since Precious. She was the producer on Precious where we met, and she is phenomenal. And I was so scared to ask her to join this film, and she said yes. And I can't even talk about it. I'm just gonna cry. I can't do it. Anyway, let's wrap this up. Okay. I'm ashamed.
Everyone, tell your friends to know. How will people be able to see this?
Okay, so what's great is we actually got into a few more film festivals, and so we're making the rounds, and then certainly before the end of the year, I believe in fall, the film in its entirety, its 23-minute entirety, will premiere on Refinery 29's website. You can access it at any point.
So tell your friends and tell them about Gabby's book. And
This is Just My Face, Try Not to Stare by Gabourey Sidibe.
you are your own best spokesperson. Well, thank you all, and thank you for the questions. And another round of applause for
Thank you,
Gabby. And she'll be in the lobby.